All right, welcome everyone to the Tuesday, November 16th, 2021 regular meeting of the Walnut Creek City Council. The City Council is conducting this meeting from the City Council chamber, and staff are complying with the current regulations of the California Department of Public Health and Cal OSHA for safe indoor meetings. We're continuing to allow for remote public comments via Zoom in addition to in-person comments. We require that all in-person attendees wear masks consistent with the Contra Costa County health orders. As some attendees may be participating in their first Walnut Creek City Council meeting, I wanted to welcome everyone and talk briefly about the public comment process. For each agenda item, there will be an opportunity for public comment on the item. Thus, if you desire to speak to an item on the agenda this evening, please hold your comments until the council considers that item. Additionally, we have a section on the agenda titled Public Communications, which is for public comments for items not on the agenda. Any comments during public communication should not relate to an item that is on the agenda this evening. Consistent with Section 9.5 of the City Council Handbook, 30 minutes will initially be allocated for public communications for items not on the agenda. Additional time for public communications for items not on the agenda will be provided at the end of the open session portion of the meeting if necessary. This process is consistent with Section 9.5 of the City Council Handbook and will allow for all public comments to be received during the meeting for items not on the agenda. When I open the public comment period, use the raised hand feature or press *9 if you're connected by audio only, which will alert staff that you have a public comment you would like to provide. We ask that everyone who wishes to speak on an item please use the raised hand feature to state your intent to speak when the item is called. If you're attending in person, please complete a speaker identification card, they're in the back, and line up behind the lectern at the appropriate time. Please wait your turn, and once brought into the meeting, state your name and city of residence for the record. Please keep in mind this is a city business meeting. The City Council has adopted rules of decorum to ensure that meetings are conducted efficiently and effectively, and that all members of the public have a full, fair, and equal opportunity to be heard. All remarks should be addressed to the City Council. Please do not use profanity during your comments. Given the COVID-19 pandemic and the increased number of speakers that have wanted to make comments on various issues during our meetings, and consistent with city policies related to public comments, each speaker will have 2 minutes to make your remarks. The Zoom feed for each speaker will cut off automatically at 2 minutes. The council will accept oral comments. Written comments submitted have been and will be posted to the city's website for public review and are included in the meeting record but will not be separately read into the record. To provide a live remote public comment, join the Zoom video conference meeting. The meeting ID is 848-3425-8845, and the passcode is 360213. Should you choose to not provide comments but would like to view the meeting, you may do so in one of the following ways. YouTube Live, you can visit the City of Walnut Creek's YouTube channel. Cable broadcast on Comcast Channel 28 in the incorporated Walnut Creek area only. Rossmore Channel 26, Wave Channel 29, and AT&T Uverse Channel 99. And it's being live streamed on the city's website. And at this time, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the city clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Darling?
Here.
Councilmember Haskew?
Here.
Councilmember Silva?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Francois?
Here.
And Mayor Wilk?
Here. Okay. Next on the agenda is the consent calendar. Does any council member wish to pull any item for discussion? Okay. I am going to pull item 2C, 2E, and 2H. Does any member of the public wish to comment on an item on the consent calendar? Please use the raised hand feature or press *9 if you're connected by audio only, if you would like to provide a public comment. For those who desire to provide public comment on a consent calendar item only, please raise your hand now. As a reminder, each speaker will have 2 minutes to make their oral remarks. The Zoom feed for each speaker will cut off automatically at 2 minutes. Written comments submitted have been and will be posted to the city's website for public review and are included in the meeting record but will not be separately read into the record. At this time, I'll ask the city clerk if there are any members of the public who would like to provide comments. So if anybody's in the room that would like to provide comments on the consent calendar item only, please step up to the lectern. I don't see any, so let's see about Zoom.
Yes, we have a speaker, Brian Davis.
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Brian Davis and I run a project. Okay. Good evening. My name is Brian Davis and I run a project called LGBTQ minus tobacco. When I was a student at Valley Verde Elementary School, I had my first crush on another boy and I knew that I couldn't tell anyone. This began a decade-long internal struggle over my sexual identity. Because of the stress caused by discrimination, LGBTQ youth in the Mount Diablo Unified School District to smoke and vape than their peers. LGBTQ high school youth in California are also 4 times more likely to smoke hookah, and transgender high schoolers are 6 times more likely to smoke hookah. 82.5% of all high school hookah smokers use flavored tobacco. Traditional hookah is harsh and unflavored. All flavored hookah products, including honey flavor, started to be sold during the 1990s, and flavored hookah is very popular with youth. Stopping the sale of flavored hookah will not stop the sale or use of traditional hookah among the local Middle Eastern community. Exempting hookah from flavored tobacco policies is not the best practice for the Bay Area. Unincorporated Contra, Costa County, Lafayette, Dublin, Livermore, Pleasanton, and over 40 other Bay Area communities with or without hookah lounges in their jurisdictions do not exempt hookah. The unincorporated county policy is the model for the vaping part of your ordinance. The county's flavor policy, which has no exemptions, could also be the model for your flavor policy. Walnut Creek has no hookah lounges, but Concord and Pleasant Hill do. Establishing a hookah exemption as a model in the area might encourage other cities to adopt the same policy, exposing their youth and Walnut Creek youth who visit those cities to continued exposure to flavored tobacco products. It would be possible to remove the exemption quickly without requiring additional staff time. Thank you for your consideration of this information.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Next speaker is Amaya Wooding.
Go ahead, if you're on.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Council. My name is Amaya Wooding, and I'm here to talk about flavored tobacco. Here are some flavors: Yummy Gummy, Raspberry Lemonade, and Sexy Senorita. I looked on the manufacturer website, and it turns out that Sexy Senorita is actually a mix of wild berries with a hint of vanilla. These delicious flavors might actually flavors of hookah that the FDA said Hookah Imports Incorporated was illegally marketing in late 2019. What we learned from this incident is that the FDA did not think that these kiddie-appropriate flavors were venerable cultural products, and most Bay Area cities that protect youth from flavored tobacco would agree. As we've said before, flavored hookah is not what is truly traditional. An article on hookahshisha.com, which is very obviously an industry website, asks, how could I possibly smoke my hookah before there was washed flavored tobacco? Turns out there was another product called tombak, which most often refers to, quote, whole leaf, unwashed, unprocessed, unflavored tobacco, which is still produced and usable with modern hookah water pipes. The article calls it, quote, the original food for your hookah, and that is what is traditional. So to put it all together, creating a carve-out for flavored hookah undeservedly and ahistorically gives special treatment to a class of products that obviously appeals to youth. Again, sexy senorita. And over 80% of high school hookah smokers say they prefer flavors. Keep this in mind tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Blythe Young.
Good evening, council members. My name is Blythe Young. I'm the Community Advocacy Director for the American Heart Association here in the Bay Area. I'm here tonight to ask you to consider removing your hookah exemption. As others on the call have already mentioned, you are following the county for several parts of your ordinance, and it really is to be following. The Heart Association does support both the state effort, which does have a hookah carve out, and local policy, but we really saw the state effort as a new floor for the entire state, knowing that folks like myself work county by county, city by city to pass these policies to protect residents. It was a lobbying decision to remove it at the state level, and we know that Bay Area cities have often gone comprehensive in their policies, and we would strongly encourage Walnut Creek to be a leader amongst your other jurisdictions. Consider passing a comprehensive policy, given that you do not have any hookah businesses. And I believe earlier it was stated that you could revisit this at a later time, if it should become an issue with hookah businesses. Why not flip that around and tonight take hookah out? And if you have hookah businesses come in later and you want to change your policy, you could consider it at that time. But in the meantime, folks would have protections that they deserve and that fit more closely with your county policy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Renee Lee.
Recording in progress.
Hello?
Hello. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, Renee. Uh-oh.
Recording in progress.
Welcome to hybrid meetings.
Renee, you should be on.
Hello?
Hello, Renee, you're on.
Okay. Do I have the additional time because I'm from a group?
No, you're on 2 minutes. Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I want to talk about the fact that the last time we met, the attorney explained that there were additional ways of consuming cannabis other than inhalation. And since you guys have already banned the flowers and now you're banning vape pens, there is no other option for me. I have neuropathic pain. I need a cannabis instantaneously. The other options do not work. I've been doing this since 2004. This is what my neurologist, my allergist, and my regular doctor all recommend I keep doing. And this policy makes me out to be a criminal. And in your policy, you state that in fact, if people don't follow the ordinance, that they can file a suit and they can be awarded damages. And if those damages are not found to be found, then they can be awarded $150, which is actually a bounty, sort of like the ones they have in Texas for the abortion laws. And I think you should read some of these things out loud when you are making these decisions, because as I asked before, I wanted cannabinoid to be at least defined. And I was taught by county council when I worked for the Department of Social Services, Children and Family Services, the court investigator, to never, ever sign or agree to language that is not explained or explained to anybody. And nobody has explained or documented any danger in cannabinoids. And as an educator, I will not be teaching people that cannabinoids, however they are consumed, are dangerous for anybody. I ask that this city council please get educated on cannabis. We have agreed to come back and talk about it. That's all I've ever asked you to do is get educated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Jimmy Ansira.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, City Council members. I do want to share my story about why hookah matters and why the hookah exemption might be considered for removal. I grew up in a city not too far from here, where there was always a plethora of hookah lounges to choose from. In my friend group, the hookah lounges were one of the first places you went to celebrate your 18th birthday. It was almost a rite of passage. One night, shortly after I had my rite of passage into the hookah lounges, I also smoked my first cigarette. I was walking to my car with a regular hookah buddy, and as we crossed the street, he lights up a cigarette, then turned to offer me one. I was caught off guard since I had never smoked a cigarette before, nor did I consider myself a smoker. I just went to hookah lounges for the social aspect. Smoking a cigarette had never crossed my mind, but for some reason in that moment, I thought, why not? There's no doubt in my mind that my habitual hookah use directly influenced me smoking a cigarette that evening. After that night, I became a regular smoker, and I can say with confidence that the hookah was a gateway into my year-long nicotine dependence. As a Latin gay male, I've witnessed firsthand how flavored hookah can hook vulnerable youth to other tobacco products. I thank you for the opportunity to present this public comment and hope you will consider this information when moving forward.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Myra Lopez.
Myra Lopez. I'm the interim program manager at Contra Costa Health Services Tobacco Prevention Program. Contra Costa Health Services would like to thank Walnut Creek City Council for their consideration and attention to youth and their health, and by taking into consideration the impact on the community that tobacco has. As you heard in the first reading, in Contra Costa County, 92% of high school students who were current users reported using a flavored tobacco product. Contra Costa County as a whole has taken preventative action to protect youth by developing and implementing these type of policies, such as the one under consideration tonight, to protect youth from the harms of tobacco. Not just vaping and little cigarillos, but also hookah. While unincorporated Contra Costa County and area cities with hookah lounges, such as Dublin, Livermore, and Pleasanton, have not excluded hookah from their tobacco retail license policies and understood that the use of all flavored products is more representative of the predatory marketing strategies of the industry than part of cultural norms. In addition, policymakers in Richmond, Pinole, San Pablo, Lafayette, and unincorporated Contra Costa have implemented, particular and most recently, Contra Costa County has upheld their vaping policies of their cannabis vaping policies. A doctor in Berkeley who has a medical cannabis facility spoke at the Board of Supervisors meeting and stated that they do not recommend vaping to their patients. There are other methods of inhalation for medical use.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Erica Costa.
And while we're waiting for Erica, I just want to mention, I apologize that we're having some broadband issues here, and there's causing a delay on the YouTube feed as well as on Zoom. We apologize for that for people that are watching us, as well as trying to call in, as well as people in the audience. So just please bear with us and have some patience. We want this to go along too.
Hello?
Hello, you're on. Please go ahead.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, I lost connection for a moment. Good evening, council members. Thank you. My name is Erica Costa. I'm the Advocacy Director for the American Lung Association in California. I just wanted to touch base tonight. I'm here to express our support for this ordinance to restrict the sale of flavored tobacco in Walnut Creek. And we just really want to encourage the city council to make sure that the policies passed around tobacco control are essentially as flavors or products. We know that 40,000 adults die each year from smoking related causes, and that the tobacco industry targets youth with flavors, and that we are seeing high school students and middle school students becoming addicted to these products and becoming lifelong users. And just wanted to circle back, touch base, and really encourage the council to pass this policy with no exemptions for any flavors or any products. So thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Erica.
And the last hand I see raised on Zoom is Jamie Rojas.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you. My name is Jaime Rojas with the National Association of Tobacco Outlets, representing retailer store members here in the city of Walnut Creek. We do not support the draft ordinance as written and want to reemphasize that Walnut Creek retailers have a 96% passing rate in retail tobacco compliance checks conducted by the FDA in Sting Youth Operations in the past 4 years, which is online and can be found through the FDA website with the state of California. So are doing their jobs. We're asking, and the question that should be asked by council members is, why hasn't tobacco control shown the numbers of flavor bans that have been passed in the past 4 years throughout the state of California? And the reason why is because it hasn't worked. There have already been 3 studies recently done on the San Francisco flavor ban, one of the oldest ones, passed 4 years ago, indicating that the flavor ban is not working there. And unfortunately, reverting youth to smoking traditional combustible council to put a pause, work on the issues that are at hand, and retailers that are caught selling these products be penalized and eventually be taken away from their license. We ask you to not move forward, and we thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Do we have any more speakers?
No additional speakers.
All right, we will then close the public comment portion of the consent calendar, and I'd like to ask if there is a motion to be made on the items that were not pulled.
There is a motion to be made. I move that we approve consent items 2A, B, D, F, and G.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. City Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Haskew.
Aye.
Councilmember Silva.
Aye.
Councilmember Darling.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Francois.
Aye.
Mayor Wilk.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, great. Now let me ask if City Council has any questions of the other items or of specifically of item 2C that was brought up by several speakers.
Well, you pulled it, so I
So,
suspect you have something on your mind, and
so-
maybe you can tell us what you're thinking.
Well, let me first ask before then, and just refer this back to our city attorney, Steve Mattis, regarding the hookah. And we specifically had debated this at our last meeting about whether exempting or not on the hookah lounges, which of course we don't have any in Walnut Creek. So could you, for the benefit of everybody that may be listening tonight, reiterate why we preferred to keep that as an exemption?
So it does remain as an exemption. So the hookah or businesses are actually exempt from the ordinance.
They are exempt.
They are exempt.
Right.
From
So
the ordinance, as it's drafted right now.
Right, and so the several callers had called in asking if we would then could not exempt them, and we had debated this a couple of weeks ago about why we were going to remain exempting the hookah lounges and not have them as non-exempt.
That is correct. The council did consider that at the last time, and the ordinance that was introduced did continue to have the exemption for hookah businesses, of which I understand we have none in town.
Right. Okay. So the comment that I'll make in terms of why I pulled it in the first place is that I'm proud that we have this ordinance. I know that it's not something that had every part of the area that people had asked for, and in fact had some areas that people hadn't asked for, specifically around cannabis. But I feel that based upon what the ordinance is and the way that Walnut Creek currently has in terms of our businesses, I've heard from many residents, many businesses, healthcare companies that have written or told me how much they appreciate Walnut Creek taking the stance. And I realize that there may be we may have to revisit this at a future date if there are hookah lounges that come in town or if there's other extenuating circumstances. But as it stands now, I'll make a motion to approve this particular ordinance.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Mayor Wilk.
Aye.
Councilmember Silva.
Aye.
Councilmember Darling.
Aye.
Councilmember Haskew.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Francois.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right. The reason I pulled item 2E is this is an adoption of the proclamation of United Against Hate Week in the city of Walnut Creek. On November 4th, the Contra Costa County Mayor's Conference adopted a proclamation titled United Against Hate Week, which is this week, November 14th through 20th. In it, the mayors adopted a united approach against the rise of hate that we've seen in this country and communities. The city of Walnut Creek, by approving this, is reaffirming our commitment for Walnut Creek to be a welcoming, inclusive, tolerant, and safe community. And we are also adopting this United Against Hate Week proclamation, which now has over 60 cities participating. And with that, I will make the motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Mayor Wilk.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Francois.
Aye.
Councilmember Darling.
Aye.
Councilmember Haskew.
Aye.
Councilmember Silva.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. And the last item, 2H, I pulled this just to make sure that in our last Downtown Next meeting that I participated, I'm on the committee with Councilmember Silva, I wanted to highlight this, that we are voting to extend the rebound program, which includes, among other things, outdoor dining in Walnut Creek through June 30th, 2021, while the city works on a more permanent outdoor dining program as part of the Downtown Next discussions. I think this probably affects anybody that eats in Walnut Creek, and I would like Councilmember Silva to make this motion.
Move to authorize the extension of the rebound program through June 30, 2022.
And I'll second that.
Mayor Silva. Councilmember Silva.
Almost. There's a couple more years.
In either case, aye.
Mayor Wilk.
Aye.
Councilmember Darling.
Aye.
Councilmember Haskew.
Aye.
And Mayor Pro Tem Francois.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right. Next item on the agenda is public.
Oh.
What? Break. Next item is break. Okay, so how much of a break do we need? And I assume this is a technical break.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Rest for 5 minutes while we sort things out. we're going to give it another shot here. Okay, for those listening, those in the audience, the broadband is pretty unstable. We're hoping that everything continues on, and we'll hope to continue getting through the council meeting. The next item on the agenda is public communications. This portion of the meeting is reserved for comment on items not on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the council cannot act on items raised during public communications, but may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, request clarification, or refer the item to staff. Consistent with Section 9.5 of the City Council Handbook, 30 minutes will be allocated at this time for public communication for items not on the agenda. Additional time for public communications for items not on the agenda will be provided at the end of the meeting if necessary. Does any member of the public wish to provide public comments at this time? Please use the raised hand feature or press star 9 if you're connected by audio only, if you'd like to provide a public comment. For those who desire to provide a public comment on items not on the agenda, please raise your hand on Zoom now so that we can identify the total number of speakers that desire to speak at this time. As a reminder, each speaker will have 2 minutes to make their oral remarks. The Zoom feed for each speaker will cut off automatically at 2 minutes. Written comments submitted have been posted to the city's website for public review and are included in the meeting record, but will not be separately read into the record. And at this time, I'll note that the time is 6:40, and we'll take public comments on items not on the agenda until approximately 7:10, and then the remainder of any such comments at the end of the open session portion of the meeting. So let me first ask members of the public that are here in person, you can come up and speak on items not on the agenda now, and we'll have our first speaker.
Hi, good evening. I'm Linda Rymack-Colberg.
I don't know.
Bring it down. Yeah,
Hi.
there you go.
There we go. Thank you. I'm Linda Rymack-Colberg. I am a resident of Walnut Creek. I'm also a member of the Walnut Creek Homeless Task Force, and I am representing the task force this evening. We are hosting a free public community forum on homelessness in Walnut Creek tomorrow, Wednesday, November 17th, from 6 to 8 p.m. It is via Zoom. This is the fourth in a series of forums that we have hosted, designed to give community members and business owners an opportunity to discuss the homelessness and to discuss some of the activities and actions being taken on behalf of homeless individuals. This fall forum will focus on mental health services available to homeless and at-risk individuals. We'll kick off with a brief video that will describe the continuum of care that is provided through the county, the city, and nonprofits, local nonprofits that are available to the homeless population. After the video, we will have opening remarks by Mayor Kevin Wilk. Thank you, Mayor. And then we will go to representatives from the Contra Costa Public Health, Mental Health Program, and CORE, Coordinated Outreach, Referral, and Engagement, who will talk about how they work together to help homeless individuals. After those presentations, we will have a panel of experts who will discuss what they do for homeless individuals and those at risk. This will be Health, Housing, and Homeless Services, Contra Costa Health Services. CORE, again, the city of Walnut Creek will be represented. The Walnut Creek Police Department will be represented. Trinity Center, Loaves and Fishes, and the Walnut Creek Homeless Task Force. Again, this is a free forum, but we do need to register. And the way to do that is by going to the Homeless Task Force website, and that's www.wchomelesstaskforce.org. So www.wchomelesstaskforce.org. You'll see the link for the Eventbrite registration. You have to register in order to get the link to the Zoom webinar. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. Next speaker.
Good evening. First of all, is this the time to speak about the buffer zone, or is that coming later?
That's later.
Sorry.
Okay. Any other comments on public communications for items not on the agenda? Anybody on Zoom, Susie?
I don't see anyone on Zoom, but we do have a speaker card for an in-person comment from Adina for general public comment.
Okay. All right. Well, then we will close the public comments at this time, and we'll bring it back to council. If there's any questions on public comments, I think we're okay. All right. Then
Don't forget to register for the homeless task force.
Yes, register for the homeless task force, exactly. Thank you. All right, so next are council member and staff announcements, reports on activities or requests. Do we have any closed session announcements?
Mr. Mayor, there are no closed session announcements this evening.
City manager report?
Good evening. I do not have a report this evening.
All right, next is city council member reports on AB 1234 activities, council member assignments, and various activities and upcoming events. Who would like to start? Councilmember Darling.
Thank you. Just a couple quick things. First, do sign up for the homeless task force. I've seen the video because I'm on the task force, and it'll make you cry. Linda did an excellent job working with the other volunteers on that. Councilmember Silva and I had a good housing subcommittee meeting this morning with a good briefing on the regional housing needs assessment and the other work that's going on with SB 9. And lastly, MCE, which is the community choice aggregator that provides electricity here in Walnut Creek, is going through a rate setting exercise. And what we're trying to do with that is keep it so that the MCE rates for Walnut Creek and across the service area that's provided power by MCE are lower than PG&E. And it looks like we're going to be able to accomplish that this year. But look for the rates will have to go up because energy costs are increasing. So look for a rate increase January 1, but not as bad as if you were with PG&E.
All right, Councilmember Haskew.
Thank you. I attended that homeless task force meeting, and I encourage all people who are interested in what's going on to consider joining the task force. That's where people volunteer and learn about how the system works and how to help people. The Civic Affairs Council at the Chamber Committee had a meeting on housing and RENA and SB 9. I've heard many of the stories, but every time I hear it, 800 housing units locations need to be identified in Walnut Creek very shortly. And so we can do it, but it's going to be a stretch. I also attended the TransPAC meeting where we approved funding requests for 2 county connection bus routes. We discussed the criteria for Measure J funds that fund programs for the elderly and disabled. The 2 that Walnut Creek is most interested in is our senior van and the people at Rossmore and their bus system. And the real sad part about it is up until this point, we usually had enough money to cover the requests for funding. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to do that this coming time. I'd like to congratulate the mayor on a very moving Veterans Day program. It was, I think, touched the hearts of everyone who attended. This weekend, I attended with the mayor a ribbon cutting attendance for the Health Bay Med Spa, and it's a place to get really spiffed up. And there's a reminder that usually at the farmers market on Sunday there is a city council booth. At least when I'm in charge, it's between 10 and noon if I make it by 10. And finally, my promise to at least give you 2 driving reminders are that 1, be especially vigilant for pedestrians in hard-to-see conditions, such as in nighttime or, more importantly, right now, bad weather, which we hope to have plenty of, so we work on the drought. And then follow slower speed limits in school zones and in neighborhoods where there might be children, dogs, and parents who aren't paying a lot of attention to traffic. Please avoid people that aren't where you expect them to be. That's it for me.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Francois. Reach.
Mine is short this evening, but I did poignant. I attended the Veterans Day ceremony and was honored to be there. And the keynote speaker was Mike Conklin, who's the chair and CEO of Sentinels for Freedom, which is an organization that helps disabled veterans make the transition to civilian life. I was very moved by his talk and also very impressed by the number of young people that were in the audience, coming with their parents and remembering our veterans. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Silva.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Darling and I are on the subcommittee that is meeting with the regarding the proposed development at the Toyota Walnut Creek site, and our meetings have been on suspension for a while they were doing some work in response to some of our recommendations, and those meetings are starting up again at the end of this week. I'm a member of the Finance Committee for the East Bay Regional Communications System, which basically is the digital radio system that is used by all public safety, fire, EMS, and police in both Alameda and Contra Costa County. And we're going to see in a coming session of council approval of the budgetary requirements needed to fully encrypt all of the radios per the Department of Justice orders, that people not be able to hear what some of the messages are that are going out over these public safety radios. I testified yesterday on behalf of California cities in front of the CalPERS organization, their board. They were considering a change in what they call the discount rate, which isn't nomenclature issue. It just means the investment rate. They were looking to reduce their expectations on what the investment dollars would return. They chose to do what the counties, the cities, the special districts we're asking, which is to maintain the rate, and so it will still continue to be at the rate that we've had. I want to especially give a shout out to our senior planner, Andy Smith, for the presentation that he made last week as part of the Chamber of Commerce Civic Affairs Forum that was on housing. And he was juxtaposed between a representative from the Bay Area Council and the East Bay Leadership Council, and I really appreciated that understanding of the importance of housing into the strength of not only the Bay Area economy, but the statewide economy. And finally, I will mention that I participated today in a discussion at the National League of Cities on civility. And so I appreciated the resolution tonight, but we seem to have, the conversation really centered around the creep of partisan vitriol being heard at the local level. And it's been particularly difficult for school boards and some of our special districts, but it's happening in city councils across the country. And just want to remind everyone that we might not agree on our perspective and our policy, but we can be united in our respect and our ability to be civil as we talk about our differences. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Silva. And so I have a few announcements. The first is a technical announcement. I'd like to encourage people that are at home to view this on Granicus on the Walnut Creek City website. We are having some of the broadband issues, and if you need to make public comment, then Zoom is the way to go. It's the only way to go for remotely. But to help our broadband issues, I encourage people to please watch on Granicus if you're watching this at home. The Veterans Day ceremony was terrific. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I do want to also mention that it is on the Walnut Creek TV YouTube channel, and you can just go to Walnut Creek TV and watch that, and it really is something. And the invocation by Reverend Leslie Takahashi was extremely moving as well. So again, thank you all that participated and everybody who was involved and watched. We had a Mount Diablo Unified School District mayoral discussion from the cities that are within the Mount Diablo School District, which includes Walnut Creek, Concord, Pleasant Hill, Clayton, and Pittsburgh. We discussed primarily the county connection and transit for the school district and had a lot of good discussion around that, just making sure that county connection is able to meet the needs of the school district for any of those kind of transit needs. And I also do sit on the board for County Connection, and just want to make a couple of announcements on that. The September promotion for free ridership increased riders by 15%, give people something for free, and they come. But take it away, like in October when it went back, ridership reverted to the previous levels. That's what happens. The executive director of the Contra Costa Transit Authority also spoke, And I thought this was interesting, and I hadn't heard this locally before, but Caltrans is not approving building roads to increase capacity. That includes freeways, highways, and just roads that Caltrans would normally build, but rather to improve them operationally. So think of an interchange flow as opposed to an extra lane built to widen freeways. This is generally up and down the state. So it was more for general information, but I thought it was important to bring it up here. I was notified that there were 3 Walnut Creek high schools that made their divisional playoffs for the first time in local history. Northgate, Las Lomas were in the Division III North Coast sectional playoffs, and Berean was in Division VII of the North Coast section. So congratulations to our local high schools for your successful seasons. And I understand Las Lomas made the semifinals in their division and play this Friday to hopefully compete in the championship the following week. And lastly, I want to mention, I saw this throughout Facebook and a variety of different comments, so I thought it's something fun to mention, is that the new mural is currently being painted on the large wall next to the former location of Mel's Diner. It's vibrant. I saw the artist spray painting a portion of it over the weekend. Check out this ongoing project. Can't wait for the mural to be completed, and it'll be an exciting addition to downtown Walnut Creek. And those are my comments. All right. The next item on the agenda is a consideration item titled Consideration of Resolution Extending Contra Costa County Abandoned Vehicle Abatement Program and Associated Fee. And at this time, I invite the staff to provide the staff presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Rindy Azevedo, Administrative Analyst in the City Manager's Office. Under consideration, do you need a second for the slides? Okay. All right, next slide, please. All right, under consideration today is the Abandoned Vehicle Abatement Service Authority Program and associated fee. This program exists to facilitate the removal of abandoned vehicles in the community. And the program must be reauthorized every 10 years and is set to expire on April 30th, 2022. I don't know, where should I point it? Okay, all right. So staff's recommendation today is that the council adopt the resolution, which would extend the program and the fee through April 30th of 2032, and would also authorize the authority to submit a ballot measure for voter approval of the fee for inclusion on the June 7th, 2022 election ballot. The Abandoned Vehicle Abatement Service Authority was formed in 1991. And in fiscal year 20, the authority received roughly $1.1 million and facilitated the removal of 1,228 abandoned vehicles countywide. The definition of what is considered an abandoned vehicle is fairly narrow, and these are vehicles that are dismantled or wrecked. They may be missing a wheel, missing an engine or the transmission, and are generally inoperable and neglected to such an extent and for such a length of time that it can be reasonably concluded that the interest or that the owner's intention is to relinquish all further rights and interests. The Abandoned Vehicle Abatement Program is funded through a fee collected at the time of vehicle registration. And the state of California collects $1 for each vehicle registered in the county, as well as $2 additional for some commercial vehicles. The state then distributes that funding to the county authority, who distributes it to the member jurisdictions. That fee is distributed, 50% is distributed based on population of the jurisdiction, and then the other 50% is distributed based on the number of vehicles within the jurisdiction that are abated as a percentage of total vehicles abated countywide. In 2010, Proposition 26 amended the definition of a tax, and now the abandoned vehicle abatement fee is considered a special tax. As I mentioned, the Abandoned Vehicle Abatement Program must be reauthorized every 10 years by a majority of the cities having a majority of the incorporated population. It also requires a 2/3 vote of approval by the County Board of Supervisors. And on the fee side, after Proposition 26, it requires a 2/3 vote of approval by the county voters. Should the program not be reauthorized or should that measure fail to pass, then the authority would be discontinued and member agencies would no longer receive revenue from the authority. So specifically to Walnut Creek, the city receives roughly $30,000 in general fund revenue each year. And in part due to that narrow definition of what is considered an abandoned vehicle for the purposes of this program, abates between 0 and 2 vehicles each year. So it's of nominal direct benefit to the city of Walnut Creek. However, this program's impacts go beyond the city, and it really is a benefit to the region as a whole and is an important program for our regional partners. This issue did go before the mayor's conference, the Contra Costa County Mayor's Conference, and there was support from the cities in attendance for reauthorization of this measure. Okay, so to recap, we are recommending that the council adopt the resolution to extend the abandoned vehicle abatement fee through April 30th, 2032, and also to authorize the authority to submit a ballot measure for voter approval of the fee on the June 7th ballot. And I am here to answer any questions that you may have, and we also have Marty Beggs-Casson, who is a police manager in the Support Services Division who can answer questions specific to the police department as well.
Do we have any questions by council? Councilmember Silva?
Thank you very much for the presentation and for the short presentation, but it was very clear. But just to ensure some clarity, this is not vehicles that are just parked on the street for a long time or get towed because they were parked illegally. This is vehicles, so literally they cannot operate. They cannot be operated.
Yes, correct. So this is separate from the regular work that our public service officers do. This is separate from vehicles that are cited for parking violations or for failed registration. This is specifically vehicles that are on public or private property but are completely inoperable. They cannot be driven and in many cases are lacking an engine. So.
And then just for clarity, we are not making a decision to put it on the ballot. We are advising the county authority, the collective group, that we think they should put it on the ballot for the whole county.
Yes, so the authority board of directors or the authority's board of directors is going to be considering action at their meeting in December. And they were requesting feedback and authorization from the city councils in order to they will then use that information to decide whether to place one on the ballot.
Thank you.
Any other questions by council? Okay, so does any member of the public wish to provide public comment at this time? Please use your raised hand feature or press star 9 if you're connected by audio only if you'd like to provide a public comment. For those who desire to provide a public comment on this public hearing item, please raise your hand now. As a reminder, each speaker will have 2 minutes to make their oral remarks. The Zoom feed for each speaker will cut off automatically at 2 minutes. Written comments submitted have been and will during this item be posted to the city's website for public review and are included in the meeting record but will not be separately read into the record. Also, please note that during public hearings and consideration items, group spokespersons are allotted 5 minutes in lieu of other members of the group speaking on the item. We trust that everyone will follow the rules. At this time, I'll ask the city clerk if there are any members of the public who would like to provide comments on this item. All right, we will.
I don't see any hands raised.
We'll close the public comment portion on this, and if we have any other council member comments or a motion, Councilmember.
I'll do both. Okay. First of all, Rindy, I believe this is your very first presentation before council, and you got a whole audience to hear you. And amazingly, you looked calm and collected and did an extraordinary good job. So congratulations on your first one. I hope you get to do lots more reports in the future. With that, I will make a motion to accept whatever we're supposed to accept.
I will second the motion to adopt the attached resolution extending the fee and the service.
That's what a team does. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll do the roll. Susan, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Haskew.
Aye.
Councilmember Silva.
Aye.
Councilmember Darling.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Francois.
Aye.
And Mayor Wilk.
Aye. Randy, thank you. You did a terrific job. All right. Next is the next consideration item, which is a resolution extending the report regarding potential buffer zone ordinance and alternative measures related to Planned Parenthood facility in Walnut Creek. And if we can get the staff report on this.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Steve Mattis, City Attorney, and I'll be making the presentation this evening. The presentation this evening was prepared in consultation with the Police Department, and so in addition to myself tonight, you may have questions that would be directed either to Lieutenant Hibbs or to Alexander Wolf of my office, who's one of the Assistant City Attorneys for the city and has done substantial work on this. So the purpose of the meeting tonight and the purpose of this issue this evening is to follow up on the City Council's request. The Council had previously requested information about a potential buffer zone, or sometimes called bubble zone ordinance, following public comments that the Council had heard at a prior meeting. And so staff has looked into the possibility of the city considering this type of ordinance. And what we're presenting to you this evening is that information. The council would then take public comments, and then ultimately we would be looking for the council to provide direction to staff as to whether or not you wish us to bring back an ordinance for council consideration or to consider some additional related interim measures. In terms of setting context for this, the city has received a number of complaints about activities that have taken place at the Planned Parenthood facility. And there were 42 calls for service to the police department between January 2020 and November 21. And there's also a record of some calls prior to January 2020 as well. There are a series of laws that exist in California already that do deal with and address issues that arise in terms of potential protest activities and disruption of people having access to facilities such as Planned Parenthood. California Penal Code Section 423 is the primary law that exists under California law that places limitations on the ability of protesters to interrupt the access to healthcare facilities such as Planned Parenthood. But there's also Penal Code Section 240 and 242 related to assault and battery under California law. And then Walnut Creek has additional regulations that apply. One municipal code section places limitations on individuals putting obstructions on public rights-of-way, including sidewalks. And the other one is a business premises trespass. So if you are a business owner and someone is coming onto your property and they don't have your consent and your authority to come onto your property, then they can be cited for trespass under Walnut Creek municipal law. As the council, let's see here. It's not advancing. Is that me? There we go. Thank you. Nope, that's too far. One back. I think I moved it twice.
The PowerPoint is running through Zoom, so there's that delay when we're clicking.
Are we still on?
I tried to get on Zoom on my phone a couple times and I'm having trouble getting in. I can get in, but I can't hear anything. Broadband signal is
this is the right.
segregated so bad that it's buffering. It's not clearly going through the system. So I'm not sure.
Let's call a 5-minute break and try to sort this out.
Correct. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was working.
Test, test, test. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Got it? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Steve, can you hear me? Send me a text. They can hear me counting on Granicus, but not on Zoom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah.
2, 2.
Wait, hold on. Do you want me to go on speaker? You want me to go on speaker? Okay. Okay.
1, 2, 2. Check. Checking audio. 1, 2. Can you hear that on the TV? I'm calling in from Zoom.
Feedback.
Check, check. There's no feedback?
There's feedback. There's feedback.
There is it? There is feedback?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like echoey sounding in the.
Check. 1, 2, 2. Okay. Okay, so this goes in the other room. So the question is, so now I need somebody to call me. You got your phone? Call me up. Okay, check. Okay, so now you're talking to me.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so now walk in the chamber. But they need to find out that there's feedback going on. Don't go in the chamber with your phone, though, all the way. You hung up on me.
Steve says that sounds clear.
Okay, so we need to use this phone number here.
What is it?
That's extension.
All of them coming.
Let me get my 943-589-9215. Call this number, and I put the microphone up to the speakerphone.
He told me my eyes are fine, probably cataracts at some point. Yeah, everybody says that's a great combination. She knows the years ago. So we'll see how it goes. Well, the other parts are pretty good. Well, it's good to keep in shape. Pickleball. I love pickleball. I pickleball. My sisters go, what the heck is pickleball? They all just laugh. So I said, listen, it's just like tennis. It's a small sport, but just like tennis. It's a funner game, more fun than tennis. It moves a little quicker. Quicker? But it's, not quick enough. But it's like the ball is about this big. It's like the wiffle ball. And it's kind of green. Sometimes they're yellow. And so that's why they call it pickleball. And then you don't use a big racket. It's a paddle. It's about, it's a little smaller than a tennis racket, but it's not like a little tennis ball. It's bigger than that. And you can get, you can get a great racket. I love those sports and they're just really, yeah. So, I mean, it is a lot of it. And it's there's people that are doing it, and they're just doing it, you know, and they just, to me, it was such a great way to go through COVID periods and couldn't get together. We played the whole time on one day. And at times, sometimes we play practice rental parties, that's all they just and there are pickleball courts. It actually starts just like a tennis court, only it's a little smaller. It's maybe 3/4 of the size of a tennis court. And a lot, it's becoming so popular now that they're taking tennis courts and they're doing pickleball. So yeah, exactly. Not as much running. You just wear, you what we do is wear plain tennis. In the summer you wear shorts and you do just wear long pants. You wear like going to your workout. So yeah, it's just awesome. I cannot say enough about it. Yeah, you can play the floor or you can play the two. It's you can play singles or doubles. It's a little different as far as the score goes from tennis. But it's such a blast. And I used to play a lot of tennis, but you don't have to. You don't have to know even how to play tennis. You can. I just signed up for the Y for the rec department one time, and I met these people who were playing with their singles. And I'll tell you, the courts are just packed every day. They're just packed, and there's no fee. There's no fee or anything. There's like 8 courts, and there's just people playing all the time. They don't play when it gets, they don't play when it gets too hot. They play early in the morning till like 12. So usually after 12 they stop. But there's a Walnut Creek Pickleball Club that you can join for $10 a year. And you get your name, in a little directory. So if you're looking for people to play, you can call them. Your information is there. Yep. And supposedly they have, I didn't make it, they have supposedly they have really cool parties. I think someone might have pictures of them. But yeah, so it's really a social thing. And they have a board, they have a board. And I don't know. Oh, doesn't everything have a board?
right, thank you everyone for your patience here. Zoom is down. That's the problem. And because we announced, we had earlier announced the fact that people could participate by Zoom, and the fact that we announced this also at the top of the meeting, people that are counting on calling in on Zoom are not able to hear it right now. There's some options that we can explore, and we're going to debate that on the dais right now to discuss if this is something that we want to go down one of these alternative paths, neither of which, may I just say, are great. All right, we all deal with that at home, right? So none of these paths are the perfect option. So I'm going to turn this over to our city manager, Dan Buckshire, to explain the options.
Actually, we're going to go with our city attorney on this one.
The assistant city attorney's in the back of the room. So, good evening, everybody. Again, so the council has a few options before it this evening. One option would be to continue this item to another meeting and have the council, when all the technology is working appropriately, have the council and the members of the public be able to participate in that. That is not a legal requirement, but it is an option for the council. Another option would be to continue with the meeting and to attempt to take comments from outside via a telephone call-in mechanism. As I understand from the most recent updates from Matt, we are still not being able, people observing on Zoom on the outside are still not able to hear the meeting.
So Steve, I just got a text from somebody saying we can hear you on Zoom.
So I believe that's...
Amy's nodding.
Can we do a survey with the people on Zoom and ask them if they can hear you on Zoom?
Can they raise their hand? If they can hear us on Zoom, raise your hand.
Or if it fades in and out.
Well, let's just give them one direction right now. If you can hear us, raise your hand on Zoom. We'll give them a minute here to... I don't see anybody raising their hand.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so Mayor, if folks are not, so if we had this other alternative where people were calling in with their comments, and even if we coordinated them to be able to call in at certain times and then we brought their comments in, we do still have the issue with folks not being able to hear us potentially on Zoom. The council should be aware that Walnut Creek is conducting in-person meetings right now. That is different than a number of cities who are still doing pure teleconference meetings under the new state law, AB 361. AB 361 does in fact require that if you're doing a teleconference meeting pursuant to AB 361 and you lose your video feed or your video connections, you're actually required to suspend the meeting at that point and not take any further action. But Walnut Creek is not operating pursuant to AB 361 because we're obviously allowing in-person attendance at the meetings. So the council's options this evening are either to continue and accept the public comment that is in the audience, but that is at risk of not being able to get people who are outside to be able to provide comment, or to consider continuing this item and then just rehearing it in its entirety at a subsequent meeting. Those are the options that I think are available to the council. We're happy to answer.
All right, so why don't we go down and just get an idea from our council members if you have any comments, your thoughts on this. Councilmember Darling first.
I'm reluctant to proceed given the reliance people had on their ability to participate remotely. I know people that asked me about it and I said, yes, you can do it from home. And they chose to do that because of, some people are more COVID susceptible than others. So that's my thought.
Okay. Councilmember Haskew?
I agree that there is no good solution to this problem. And, I have no way to estimate, but I'm going to say well over 20, 25, 30 people not technically allowed to do this. I agree there is no real good solution to this. There are a significant number of people here who have taken time out of their evening to come down, and to discontinue the meeting would actually be disrespectful for you. But there is a significant number of people who, from all intents and purposes, are counting on the right to do this over Zoom. And I don't think we gain anything by trying to do half and half, which is get half of the meeting and get the people here, and then later on have people come back again and or reiterate, or the people who couldn't participate coming it over. So I don't believe that it's a good solution. The least good solution is where we split the meeting. So of the other ones, deferring it or just continuing it and ignoring the Zoom people, which I think is the second least a good solution. I think I'm voting for, if there's a vote, a continuance.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem?
I'm in agreement with Council Members Darling and Haskew.
Councilmember Silva?
I am in agreement as well, because I think we should all have an opportunity to hear each other at the same time and in the same meeting.
Yeah, and I reluctantly am going to agree with this. It's disappointing. And we were prepared. All of you took time out of your day to prepare and came for your evening. We've all been preparing for this as well. And it is with our disappointment. We've come to rely on technology, especially during the pandemic, and sometimes, usually it works, and sometimes there's glitches, and this is unfortunate. So I really apologize. This is actually the last item on the agenda tonight. So what we will do is we will continue this to another meeting. It may be a regular meeting. It may be a special meeting that we will announce. We will announce it with plenty of time. It will be agendized on that special meeting, should it be on a special meeting or regular meeting, but most likely special. You'll get noticed on this, and we will hopefully see you all back here. We'll make sure Zoom is hopefully working as well. Again, our sincerest apologies to you, to the people at home, and to everybody else that was counting on this meeting happening tonight. We'll see you soon. With that, we're adjourned.
Hang on to the...